Anthropic recently released its most capable frontier AI to date, but the mechanics of this deployment deviate from the established standards of a major model launch. Instead of a single offering, the model arrived as two distinct products carrying different names, Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5. Fable 5 is available for general public use. Mythos 5 is strictly restricted, accessible only to vetted security and government partners through Project Glasswing. The difference between Fable and Mythos is not found in their parameter count or their underlying architecture. The base weights for both models are identical. The separation is enforced by a localized classifier layer. This layer actively monitors inputs and arbitrates access to the model's raw capability ceiling. This classifier is what transforms the unconstrained Mythos 5 into the public-facing Fable 5. Anthropic's deployment strategy suggests a change in how frontier capabilities are managed. By layering a classifier over a unified core, the model's effective power is dictated by an engineered access boundary rather than the scale of its weights. Both models operate at an aggressive cost efficiency, priced at $10 per million input tokens and $50 per million output tokens. The Fable 5 classifier monitors for specific high-risk vectors, acting as a tripwire for prompts related to offensive cybersecurity, biology, chemistry, and model distillation. When a prompt triggers these nodes, Fable intercepts the query and reroutes it to a secondary, safe architecture, Claude Opus 4.8. The user receives a response from Opus 4.8, which maintains workflow continuity while avoiding a hard refusal message from the Fable model. According to Anthropic's performance data, this Opus fallback trigger fires in fewer than 5% of total user sessions. This architecture provides a pathway for AI alignment where safety is achieved through seamless capability degradation instead of outright denial. Managing a model with frontier-level offensive cyber capabilities requires a corresponding defensive infrastructure. Anthropic conducted an external red teaming phase involving over 1,000 hours of continuous adversarial testing against the classifier system. During this testing window, red teamers achieved 0 universal jailbreaks on long-form agentic tasks. To further secure these models, Anthropic implemented a specific data retention policy for all Mythos-class traffic. This timeline shows the mandatory 30-day retention window applied to all queries. This period allows security teams to monitor for distributed or multi-prompt attacks that unfold over time. Access to this data is strictly logged for safety surveillance and is not used for model training. Deploying unconstrained models at this level now requires an enterprise-scale surveillance network running in parallel to the base weights. To understand the necessity of the classifier layer, we have to evaluate the unrestricted capabilities of Mythos 5. AI coding performance has shifted from discrete single-function generation to unsupervised long-horizon architectural overhauls. During early testing, Stripe tasked the model with migrating a 50 million-line Ruby codebase. This chart compares the expected timelines for the migration. A human engineering team would require over 2 months of manual work. Mythos 5 compressed that work into a single day. The model can maintain contextual focus across millions of tokens without human intervention. Mythos also achieved the top score on the Frontier Code evaluation, which measures its ability to output high-quality, production-ready code. Unrestricted capability at this tier shifts the AI from a coding assistant to a fully autonomous software engineering team. Biology and chemistry represent the second high-risk vector monitored by the Fable 5 classifier. Internal protein design experts reported a 10 times workflow acceleration when using the unrestricted Mythos model. In these tests, the model acts as the primary scientist. It autonomously chooses binding sites, selects bioinformatic tools, and executes the runs. The success rate of these autonomous runs is high. 9 out of 14 protein targets yielded strong candidates for advanced drug design. Mythos 5 also produces novel scientific hypotheses using first principles reasoning. In blinded tests against previous Opus class models, internal scientists preferred the molecular biology hypotheses generated by Mythos 80% of the time. The reasoning required to accelerate therapeutics also risks accelerating the development of bioweapons, making the classifier firewall a requirement for public release. The most extreme example of the model's agency occurred during a week-long unassisted genomics research loop. During this week, the model was tasked with assembling and categorizing single-cell data across 138 animal species. Mythos 5 designed, built, and trained its own custom machine learning model to categorize those cells. This chart compares the efficiency of the results. The AI-generated model has a footprint 100 times smaller than a recent model published in the journal Science, yet it achieved higher accuracy. When an LLM operates autonomously for a week, it transitions from processing information to manufacturing its own optimized AI tools. Pulling back from these benchmarks, we can reevaluate the core paradox of the dual release. The dual release highlights a new reality. The most capable model the public can touch is no longer the most capable model that exists. The Fable 5 classifier layer demonstrates that access arbitration, rather than parameter restriction, is becoming the new standard for AI safety. As foundational models reliably cross dual-use thresholds, open and equal access is no longer the default deployment strategy. As these capabilities continue to scale, the central question remains: who ultimately decides who gets access to the ceiling? The bifurcation of Fable and Mythos establishes a practical framework for the distribution of future frontier systems, where the core weights remain static, while the capabilities available to the user are defined by their level of trust.